All right. Hello, everybody. It is Coach Talyn, your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, bringing to you the draft analysis for Season 2 of the UPA. This league is ran by some amazing people. Shayquaza, JBWestside, Lieutenant Gold, aka Dorian, all beautiful and wonderful people. Be sure to go check them out down in the description below, along with all the other coaches of the UPA. We got 20 motherfuckers up in here, 20 amazing people. Oh boy. As you can see, this is definitely going to be a fun league for sure. Everybody seems really chill, and I'm really excited to get this going. This is like the first huge Wi-Fi league that I was ever a part of. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily huge, but it's still like a big place for me to get into. For me, in my opinion, it's like a home league for me. So I'm really excited to be brought back for another season. That being said, let's get into the draft analysis. Waste no time. I don't remember what spot in that draft we had, if I'm being 100% real with you. But what matters is that we picked up Galarian Darmanitan. I think we're like spot 6. We picked up Galarian Darmanitan right here. This thing is a button clicker. I'd say one of the titans of Draft League right now. This thing, with its ability of Guerrilla Tactics, just clicks massive amount of buttons. Nobody wants to take it. Nobody wants to take an Icicle Crash or even a U-turn from this thing. You can rock a Choice Scarf, or if you're feeling brave enough, a Choice Band, and do some fuck tons of damage no matter what. It does limit you to have only like be able to pick one move at a time. But Guerrilla Tactics was doing that anyways, and a Choice Band or Choice Scarf, which, you know, regular Darmanitan and Galarian Darmanitan both love running. So, I'm really excited to use this mon. It's actually a mon I've been wanting to try out for a while. Absolute fucking monster. Can't wait to use this. It's going to be a fucking blast. Can't wait to just click buttons with this for sure. So, moving into round 2. We ended up picking up Tangrowth. Tangrowth is probably like one of the most offensive mons in the game right now. Getting a return in the Isle of Armor, I believe, is when it first came out, or came back. This mon just loves to eat hits from any type of mon. Loves taking them ground moves, loves taking them water moves. I've potentially seen it live a fire type move too. If you want to be like that, you can be like that. It's about that action for sure. But this mon is really just here to eat hits, throw off them sleep powders, or even them sun spores on occasion. Throw off them leech sheets, them knocks off, them giga drains. This mon is an absolute tank, and I just knew I needed to pick it up. I knew that I needed this on my squad before anybody else could get it, which is why I kind of prioritized it a little high. It's a 20-man draft. I didn't know what was going when. I just needed to make sure I got my hands on it. And I'm really glad that I did, because I had Tangrowth back in the IBA, didn't use it to its full potential, but now we have it here, and we're using it as best as we can for sure. Mon number 3, we have Bucephalon. Bucephalon, I needed a special type button clicker, much like G Darmanitan. Clicking them very spammable Shadow Balls, them very spammable Fire Blasts, other type moves that I don't know what it gets. If I'm being 100% real with you, I don't know what it gets for sure, but I just know that it gets that absolute fire moveset. I know it gets Solar Beam, so if I want to rock the Power Herb Solar Beam set, I'm fully in my capability to do so. Really excited to use this mon. I've actually seen this mon pop off a really good bit with other people. Like, I believe Q had a Bucephalon at one point, or no, I don't know if Q had a Bucephalon at one point. I know somebody I know had a Bucephalon at one point, and that thing just did immense amount of work. He slapped on a Specs, he slapped on a Scarf, and it just went to town. And that's exactly what I expected to do here. I expected to just go to town on anything that it comes in on. Nothing is taking a Specs Fire Blast. Plus Beast Boost being an amazing ability makes me wish I grabbed another Ultra Beast in the lower tiers, but really excited to use this mon. Been actually wanting to use it for a decent bit, and I'm glad I got to pick it up here. It's actually something that was on my original draft plan. Believe it or not, we did not get as sniped as you may think, but we did end up having to change up our draft just a little bit towards the end, but it's alright. Moving into round number 4. Zydog. Zydog is here again. We have Zydog in the ICP. Puts in a decent amount of work there. Zydog is going to put in a decent amount of work here. I needed a dragon type It also covers my ground typing as well, so we got a ground and dragon type. It's not what I drafted initially, but I'm okay with picking this up instead of what I drafted, because I was lacking in type diversity for sure. Everything I had was almost monotype, and I did need to change up the team towards the end of the draft, and this is one of the things that I picked up, and I think it can just go to town. This thing sets up a D-Dance, and it sweeps. This thing rocks a choice band, and it sweeps. This thing just goes to the absolute work. Like, show me your outrage switching that's not a fairy type. I don't think you have one. Show me your 1,000 arrows switching. 1,000 arrows is such a spammable move because it hits those adjacent flying type Pokemon. Like, I can't get enough. If I can draft Zygarde, trust me, I would. I wanted to here. That's why I wanted to grab Tangrowth, because Tangrowth is probably the best Zygarde switching in the game. So we grabbed its 10% counterpart, and hopefully when this thing comes, it comes to put in that work for sure. So really excited to use this mon. I think it's definitely going to put in that amount of work that I expect it to, and it's going to just be great. So moving into round number 5, we ended up taking Araquanid again. We have Araquanid in EWT, I believe it is. This thing is just such a bulky mon, and I needed that bulk, extra side of bulk on the Spadef side, and this thing definitely is a Spadef tank. Throw an Assault Vest on this, throw leftovers on this, throw boots on this. This thing just is here to eat hits like it's nobody's business. It has Water Absorb, it has Water Bubble, which is great for physical attackers since he can't be burned. Really love that for this mon. It's very excited to throw up them webs with it again. Throw off them Toxics, them Scalds. I'm really excited to use this mon, if you can't tell. It's just such a good mon. I think it does what it does. Like, it has a very few sets, as its very few sets, but it does them sets so good. Nobody can do Araquanid sets better than Araquanid, and that's just for a fact. Moving into round 6, we ended up taking Slowbro G. By the time I wanted to pick up a Slowbro, Slow King G, which is, definitely better than Slowbro G, it was already taken, and it was out of my point range. So even if I wanted it, I couldn't have grabbed it. But hopefully this thing can just put in work. If not, I can always drop it for something else in later terms. But I think Quick Draw plus Click Claw could definitely put in some work at some time, and because that would just be fire to pop off. Like, who wouldn't want to pop that off? But yeah, I think this thing could definitely put in some work. I could see it being on the low-key defensive side, seeing how it does almost have the exact same stats as Slowbro, just a little bit weaker on its defensive sides. But being Poison Psychic actually could be beneficial to it than Water Psychic. Granted, it doesn't switch into things as well anymore, but I think it could still definitely be a little tanky and be able to take them hits that normal Slowbro wouldn't be able to take otherwise if it was still like Water Psychic, for instance, like them Thunder Punches or Wild Charge. It can switch into those and be able to tank them just fine, and not take as much as a regular Slowbro would. So hopefully that could pop off along with Shell Side Arm. Shell Side Arm low-key kind of fire. I'm not going to knock it until I try it. So moving into round number 7, we took Registeel. Registeel is a mon that I used in IBA. It is so good. It is so Spadef. It is so Fizdef. It actually, believe it or not, is more Spadef than Toxapex, who is also a really good mon to run on the Spadef side, in case you didn't know. Like, that mon is actually fairly well off on the Spadef side. So being able to have something that has more Spadef than this is just absolutely fucking wild to me. It throws up rocks. It feels like a mon that should get knockoff, but it unfortunately doesn't. I really wish it did, if I'm being 100% real with you. But it does throw off them T-Waves. I've seen that Blunder Policy, it wasn't Charge, it was Zap Cannon. Blunder Policy Zap Cannon set. Shout out to Aquarius. That thing put in some wild amount of, it would definitely caught you off guard for sure. It was wild. But I definitely could see this thing low-key putting in some work, being able to take those special hits, maybe going on the offensive like Aquarius attempted. I think it was supposed to be an offensive set, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask Aquarius at one point, who's also in the league. Be sure to go check them out. They're a beautiful person. But Registeel, really glad to have this back on the team. Real Steel is here. So really just excited to use this mon overall. Moving into round number 8. Ended up taking up Slurpuff. I hate this Pokemon. I think this Pokemon is the, not like in terms of like competitive play, but I hate the Pokemon's design. It looks so ugly. Its nickname is gonna be Ugly Thang, just because I do not like it at all. I don't like this mon, but it's unfortunately really good in competitive play, and I say unfortunately with a little bit of, with a grain of salt here, because this thing pops off a belly drum with a citrus berry and you get swept. This thing gets unburdened, and like it is kind of actually really hard to outspeed this thing once unburden is popped, because believe it or not, it actually can outspeed a good amount of Pokemon. You'd have to have like a Sand Team or another unburdened mon to be able to keep this thing in check once unburden is popped. So I definitely want to be able to pop that sit off. But I also know that this thing is also really nice on the defensive side as well, getting access to things like Toxics and Sticky Webs and things like that. Getting Drain Punch is no laughing matter, as it actually is very helpful to gain some recovery in times of need when it's a little bit on the lower end of HP. So being able to have that, plus I think it might also get Draining Kiss as well. Beautiful stuff. You really love to see. But overall, that's really all that is to it. It's like a really good unburdened sweeper mon, plus a really nice defensive mon that I can't wait to use. Well, I say can't wait to use again with a grain of salt, because I do not like this Pokemon. I hate this thing. If we could just like black it out on my screen, that'd be beautiful. But moving into round number 9, we picked up a Scavalier. I've seen this thing put in amounts of work. Did you know that this thing doesn't get spikes? Let that sink in. This thing doesn't get spikes. I was under the impression that this thing at least got spikes. It doesn't get Stealth Rocks. It doesn't get spikes. It gets knockoff. It gets all them other moves like Toxic and stuff. And it does those things fairly well. It's a really defensive mon on both sides, actually sharing equal defenses of 105 if I'm not mistaken. But overall, this mon is really good. It clicks Knockoff. It clicks a Mega Horn. It clicks an Iron Head. It clicks a Toxic. And it can run them Assault Vests. It can run them Leftovers. It can run them... I think that's about it. That's all I've ever really seen it run. But overall, this one is actually really nice, and I can't wait to use it, because if you know my old team, Vegas Gold and the Scavaliers, Vegas Gold, baby. Really excited to use it, and can't wait to see it pop off here. So, moving into round number 10, more Pico. Did I miss a mon? I might have accidentally missed a mon, low-key. Hold on, let me check. Some low-key editing, also not really, but it's, you know, it's okay. Oh no, I didn't miss a mon. Alright, well, so sad. Morpeko is here. Morpeko is a mon that I drafted in UPBA that ended up dropping later on because I just didn't see a need for it at that point in the league. But in the match that the singular match that it came, it put in the absolute fucking work. Like, this mon was so fucking good. It almost actually clutched up the end game for us if I had just gotten the right amount of, because okay, Aura Wheel plus Hangry Mode is very interesting. If I had gotten the right typing at the right time, I low-key could have clutched up that match low-key on the lowest of keys. But overall, this mon is really just here to Rapid Spin, since I needed one very badly, as I don't think I had one at that point. I don't think I had removal yet. Yeah, I don't think I had removal at this point in the match, so I might have to drop a couple things later on for more removal, but that's besides the point. But this thing rapid spins, and it does the work. That's really all it was here to do. So moving in to round 11, Sigilith is here. So Sigilith is another defog mon, leaves me with 1 point remaining, and I did not grab a 1 point mon, trust. But I'm really excited to use this mon. This mon, I think, could definitely put in some work. I've seen some like Cosmic Power, Stored Power sets go in, along with like Calm Mind, Stored Power, and things like that. It gets defog, so it acts as a defogger. It gets Roost and things like that. But yeah, that's really all there is to say about Sigilith. It's really just like, it's a setup mon that if you can get it to pop off and like kill a mon or two, then it did its job, right? So really excited to use this. And with that being said, it's going to be the end of my draft, no matter, even though there's like a bar here, it's the end of my draft. So I really hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like the team. I know this was kind of a rush team builder, but I do have to get this up technically today since it is 12:41. So it's going to go up later today. But that being said, I am going to get up and out of here. Be sure to go check out every other coach down in the description below. Because they're all beautiful and wonderful people. And I can't wait to see you guys next week for week 1. So, I'm Coach Talyn, Coach of Atlanta Braviaries, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.